Welcome to my Idaho cabin, where the elk and deer run free. Welcome to my Idaho cabin, hope you spend a little time with me.
Hi everybody, this is Rick. Welcome to my Idaho cabin. Hi everybody. Sorry about the being remiss about making videos here the last couple of weeks, but it is hunting season here in Idaho, or it was. I didn't get my elk, but I did get a deer. So anyway, today I'm going to use Big Red here, and we are going to make venison chili. But we're going to do it two ways. I'm going to show you not only how to prepare the chili, but also how to process it, how to can the chili in a pressure canner. So stick around, I'll show you how I do it. Today I'm going to use the KitchenAid grinder attachment to process the meat rather than my other just pure meat grinder. But anyway, when you're making chili, I like to use the 1/2-inch die or plate when I make chili. It gives you a coarser grind, and I like the chili to still have some bite to it, and that's why I don't use hamburger or the hamburger grind. I like the big ones. I either hand chop it or I use the 1/2-inch die. So I'll put it in there and we'll start grinding meat. Okay, here I have almost 5 pounds. It's 4 3/4 pounds of nice deer meat. It's cut into stew slices or pieces, so I'm going to just drop this in. Normally I would, if I was going to do a grind, I would cut it into pieces about 1 inch by 4 to 6 inches and put them in that way. But when we process the deer, we cut it up into stew meat, and so I'm going to process that. So here we go. Speed 4 is the correct speed to grind the meat. So here we go. Okay, there it is. Beautiful, nice chili grind. It's large. It's like hamburger, but it's a lot bigger, and so gives you some texture in your meat. Anyway, we're ready to go. This is a nice heavy bottom pot that is over medium-high heat, and I'm going to add a little oil to the bottom, and we're going to saute the beef until it's browned. And then I'll remove it to another bowl, and we'll do some sausage. So when the beef is completed, I'll be back with you. Okay, the meat and the venison and the sausage have all been browned right here, very nicely browned. Now here are the vegetables. There are onions, tomatoes, jalapeños, garlic, and bell peppers, red and green bell peppers in there. So this is going to go into the pot, and we're going to saute that. Get them nicely softened up. So when we get to that point, I'll bring you back. Okay, now that the vegetables have softened nicely, I'm going to return the meat to the pot. And then we're going to add the spices, which are all listed below. Two cans of diced tomatoes with their broth, with the juice. Tomato paste. Now here's a trick. I don't know, I thought most people know this, but when you put tomato paste in a pot, if you're going to use the whole can, cut both ends off the tomato paste, and then just use use your fingers to push the tomato paste through, and then you just peel off the lid that went in the pot, and you have a nice clean tomato paste can. So we'll do that with the other 2 cans. I'm making a double batch here, so that just goes in there like that, and then you just grab the top as it comes off, and nice clean can. There you go. Okay, now I'll add the rest of the ingredients. Beef broth, vinegar, etc. It's all listed down below, and then we'll stir it up and start it to simmer. Now this recipe calls for a can of beer, or in this case I'm doubling it, 2 cans of beer. And whenever I add beer to a recipe, it's always red Bud. I just happen to like that. It seems to give it the best flavor. But it's not an advertisement for them, but I had to buy this one special because I usually drink Bud Light. But red Bud, the regular full strength, is I think the best tasting in a stew or a chili. Okay, there's the chili all stirred up and ready to go. Now I'm going to put the top on this and bring the heat up just a little bit to a simmer, and then we'll simmer it covered for about 2 to 3 hours. And then I'm going to add a couple more tablespoons of chili powder, and it should just about be ready to go. So at that point, I'll bring you back. Okay, the chili has been cooking for about 2 to 3 hours, and now I'm going to take it out and put it in the jars for canning, and then I'll put the rest back on the stove and let it cook until it's finished cooking. But I want to take this out now for putting in the jars because it's going to cook in the jars, and I don't want it to get real mushy if I let it cook the whole way first before canning it. So we can it about midway through the cooking process. So I'm going to do about 6 jars right now and see how much chili I have left. So, and then we may do more. So, first of all, these are clean jars. They don't have to be sterile, but these are clean jars. Now I'm going to fill these up to about 3/4 of an inch of head space. Just about like that. And then I have this little jar right here, this little container is vinegar. Because this is chili tends to be a little bit on the greasy side. Anytime you do meat or anything greasy like chicken or anything like that, you want to make sure to wipe the rim of the jar with vinegar. Make sure it's clean, and so you'll get a good seal. Okay, those are all filled, and I have quite a bit left, so I think I'm gonna put some more, fill some more jars. Anyway, wipe the rims, just the rim really well. Make sure that you get all that, any grease on there at all that will prevent a seal. Now, ball and doesn't say that you have to soak these in hot water anymore, but I do just for the heck of it. It just makes, you know, originally it was to soften the rubber so it would make a better seal. I just continue to do that, although the experts say that you don't have to. Ooh, hot water. Now I want to make one comment about these seals. These are one-time only use seals. If you hear anybody tell you that you can use you can reuse these seals. Just stay away from them like a heartbeat, like a heart attack. They don't know what they're talking about. It's just bad idea. You want to use these rims or tops only once. So now I'll put the rings on them and we'll get them in the canner. Okay, we'll put them on finger tight. And the water in the canner has been heating up. It's nice and warm. It's not boiling yet. All right, I'll put these in the canner. And I'm going to get some more out here. Yeah, I've got plenty here to make 12 at least. So we'll just keep going. Now if you put chunky meat in here like stew or something like that, you'll want to run a debubbler around the outside just to make sure you get all the air out. But with this chili is pretty loose, pretty wet, and so the bubbles are just going to come out anyway, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Okay, now these will go in. Okay, that's a full bottom. That's one full row in the bottom, so I have to put a separator plate in there, and then we'll put the last two on top. Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of oil on the rim of my All-American canner, because that's what the instructions say, to put a little bit of oil on there to kind of help seal it. And now there's a slot right here and an arrow on the top of the All-American canner, and you line those up and then turn it so it locks. Now what we're going to do, pardon me for walking in front of you, is we're going to tighten the dogs down. We're going to put the dogs on and you want to keep this gap level all the way around so that the top goes on nice and even. And you put the dogs on opposites like this. All right, now let's check the spacing here. Looks pretty good. Okay, now we'll tighten them down, opposites, and the burner is now on high. And I'm going to let this come to a boil, and the steam will vent through this vent pipe right here. And you let the steam vent for 10 minutes, and then you put the weight on there. And you process it for the length of time that the recipe calls for and at the pressure for your altitude. So here at 6,000 feet, or 4,500 feet, pardon me, we do it at 15 pounds. So when this starts venting, I'll come back and show you that, and then we'll keep on going. Okay, the steam has started to spit out of the vent. I think if you look against the cabinet, the brown of the cabinet, you could probably see it. So now I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes and let that vent for 10 minutes, and then I'll put the weight on and we'll bring it up to pressure. So when we get up to pressure, I'll bring you back. Okay, and now as you can see, the canner is up to pressure and the weight is rattling. And so now I've turned the heat down just a little bit, and I've also started my timer. We're going to process these for 75 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes, and then after that time we'll turn the heat off and just let it cool naturally. So we want this to keep that weight just rattling about 4, 5, 6 times a minute, maybe 10, something like that. You just adjust the heat a little bit until it maintains a good rattle rate, and go for that. So when the time is up, I'll bring you back and then we'll shut her down. Well, it's now 75 minutes or hour and 15 minutes, and the chili is done. So we're going to go in here and turn that stove off, and that's all we're going to do. We're going to walk away from it. Just let this thing cool down naturally. You can, it'll stop rattling here in a few minutes, and then you watch that gauge on the left and it'll go right down to 0, but it's going to take an hour, hour and a half to do that. And when it's all the way down and the pressure is all the way off, then you can take the weight off and you let it sit. Then after about 5 minutes, uncover it carefully and then let it sit a little bit more. Then about after 5 minutes, take the chili out, take the jars out, and set them in a nice place where there's no wind, no breeze or anything like that. Let them sit and let them cool overnight. In the morning, you check to make sure that everything is sealed up and good. Rinse the glasses or the glass. Take the seals off and label them and put them away. That's all there is to it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. The chili came out really, really good. Wasn't real hot, wasn't really spicy, just lots of good flavor, and we really enjoyed it. As I mentioned, I got 10 pints of chili canned, and then we had enough for 4 big bowls left over. So probably 14 to 16 pints of chili in that batch. As usual, the recipe will be right down here. The like and dislike buttons is over here. Forget the dislike, just click on the like. And leave a comment or two if you will. I really enjoy reading them, and I will answer you if you have a question or anything like that. But I do like to hear the comments from you guys. So if you enjoyed the video, please take advantage of this side of the screen. Appreciate it. So until next time, this is Rick at My Idaho Cabin.
Welcome to my Idaho cabin, where the elk and deer run free. Welcome to my Idaho cabin. Thanks for spending time with me.